Hey guys, and welcome to FanCast. We're very grateful to be recording from the historic St Kilda Sports Club, the oldest locker room in the Southern Hemisphere. Join us on the bench where we talk all things footy. We're fans, and this is FanCast.
Righto, guys, welcome to the inaugural FanCast Grand Final Eve panel show. We're coming to you live here today from the St Kilda Sports Club, and we're also, what is that thing that we're doing? Live, what's it called?
It's a live Grand Final live show.
Yeah,
live stream.
That's the thing.
Onto the YouTubes.
I don't know about this stuff. I'm used to fax machines and all of that, but
You got to get with the times.
So
Coach
what
Cole.
does that actually mean, Joe?
What does it mean? It means that despite us having an absolute chock-a-block full venue here,
And it is full. Can we hear it, guys? Give us some noise.
Yeah, get around us. Get around us. Love it. On you, fellas. It means that we've also got a whole bunch of incredible people out there on YouTube watching us as well. So much love. G'day, Fancasters, and welcome to another episode here on the pod where we have a proper footy chat. But this is a different type of proper footy chat, isn't it, Coach?
That is. I'm Coach Cole. It's an honour to be here. This is, of course, the man himself, Centre Bounce Joe, as we know him online. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you, thank you.
He has been carrying the FanCast podcast all year, mate. You've showed up week in, week out. You've put in the hard yards. Congratulations on reaching a grand final, son.
Mate, can you give me a massage, please? My shoulders hurt, mate. I feel like Paddy Cripps at the moment.
What do you think this is, the casting couch?
Mate, can I get 45 votes as well?
Tell them what we've got coming up, Joe.
Mate, we've got an incredible night. You guys all know about it. If you didn't know about it, you wouldn't be here. But we have some incredible guests coming on. It's been a very long season. We've had heaps of guests come on. We've had about 26 or so different podcasters throughout the season. Some of them that you know and love will be on the couch with us tonight. But of course, we also have 4 very special people, don't we, Coach Cole?
We sure do. Some greats of our game, absolute champions. Before we go on, we should mention some of the sponsors tonight. We're very proud to have them on. Of course, Tradie Beer guys out there, free beers for us all night. Thank you, Tradie Beer. Woohoo!
Absolutely.
Now, it is customary when we drink a Tradie Beer to do this.
Yes, yes. That's the customary. Also, a massive shout out to across the road, our great friends at Banff Pizza for providing us with the pizza here that you've got in front of you. Absolutely welcome, guys. Help yourselves. More will be coming a bit later on. Also, a massive thanks to Lock and Load for helping us set up and getting this incredible acoustics and the sounds and the lighting all looking as sensationally blinding as you can see here today. I hope I don't look very white or red. I definitely feel red, but we will be...
Of course, Apollo at St Kilda Sports Club for providing the venue. What a bunch of legends. Thank you so much. And the team at Sportscast, thank you, guys. You couldn't do this without you. We should get into it, I reckon, Joe. Enough talk,
100%.
A little less conversation, a little more action.
Absolutely. And there's one guy who has always been about action. He is the ball magnet, the accumulator, who had an incredible start to his career at the Bombers. He achieved the likes of which many people can only hope and dream of, and I can only hope that some of our modern day Essendon players can achieve that as well. Of course, we've got the great smoking Joe Misiti, who will be making his way up to the bench right now.
Give him a round of applause, guys. Have you got some music for him?
Welcome, Smoking Joe.
Joe Misiti, welcome to the casting couch.
Just let me get a couple of stains back here, mate. What are they? Right, mate, it's bright.
Yeah, it is.
Comfortable? Comfy?
Yeah, good,
Excellent,
mate.
excellent. Mate, you've been part of some incredible teams coming up. Also featured in some grand finals. Obviously, this is grand final eve. Mate, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm a Bomber supporter, as you can tell. My name is Joe. You can imagine what sort of nicknames I've had growing up.
Tell me a couple, mate. What a couple?
I don't know if you've heard of the name Smokin' Joe before. Have you heard of Smokin' Joe?
That's mine, mate. I've got a trademark on it, mate. You can't
Yeah,
use
you're
that.
vaping, Joe. You're a millennial, a bit weaker, a bit softer.
I have the softer, more flaccid version, I think.
How did you get the name Smoking Joe? Is there a history to that, the smoking element?
I wish the story was a bit better, mate, but it was just because when I was 18, went on Widewater Sports after about 7 or 8 games. Jared Healy was hosting, and back then there was not many Joes playing AFL footy, and obviously after Smoking Joe Fraser. So he called me Smoking Joe from there, and it stuck. So I don't mind it. I've been called a lot worse, and still do. So I don't mind it at all. It's not about nickname.
Did Sheeds call you that?
She's called me everything else but that. So, he still can't say my surname. He still says it. He says Misiti.
Misiti.
Yeah.
Double T.
Yeah, double T.
Mate, because you've been all over the place. I mean, you got Misiti,
Mazda.
Mazda?
No?
No?
Did I make that up?
Nah, I'm thinking about logistics, I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah, I run a transport. I've got a little small transport company I run, Misiti Logistics, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you're going with that, are you?
That's exactly where I was going. You've been all over the place and you still can't get your name right.
And you're supposed to be the host here, mate?
I am supposed to be the host here, mate, but, I'm a little bit starstruck at the moment here, because I've been called Smoking Joe my whole life, and then I'm here talking to the actual real deal.
Smoking Joe talking to a Smoking Joe. Perfect,
Joe
mate.
talking to a Smoking Joe.
Now,
absolutely.
talking about Sheeds, I mean, a revered coach, not only for Essendon, but just the game of football. 4-time Premiership Coach, one of my kind.
Like yourself.
What kind of influence did that man have on you, not just in a career, but as a person, as an individual?
It's a good question, mate. He had, before the age of 30, I think I spent more time with him than I did with my own family because I was at the footy club so much. But another thing that everyone asked me who my favourite senior coach is, I only ever had one, so
Yeah.
I can only say Sheeds. But Sheeds just gave me direction in life. I was a bit of a, what do we say? I was a little bit loose when I was young. I didn't like training.
What do you mean when you were young, Joe?
I'm still a bit loose now, but I can't recover as well as I could then, mate. But he just gave me direction in life and said, this is what you got to do. You're here to play footy. You're good enough to make a career of it. But you got to put your head down, ass up, and do the work. So he gave me an opportunity. He gave me my first game when I was 17, which you don't see that often nowadays. A lot of today's footy, they want to wait. They want to give them a year or 2 years to develop. She's pretty much said stuff that we put you in the deep end and we'll see if you can sink or swim. So he was sensational for my career and just a great man.
Because you had to really win him over because the under-19s closed. I think were you the last person on the list to get in that?
Yeah, well, I was, I played under-19s for 2 years when I was 15, 16, and that year was 1991, I think it was, where they were getting rid of the under-19s and bringing the under-18s in so there was no more zones or what have you. And yeah, I was the last bloke to put on a list, but it wasn't Sheeds to put me on a list. I played 2 years at Teal Cup, and Dennis Pagan was my coach.
Right.
And then in '92, he came and coached Essendon in the reserves.
To a flag?
Yes, to a flag. And he was the one that went in the bat for me. But he said, mate, this kid can play. He's a little bit loose around the edges. He doesn't like the hard work.
He's on good pasture.
Yeah. We can, but we can fix that. So it was actually more Dennis Pagan that got me on the list and gave me my career. And the funny story is that I saw him Sunday at Ribera's. I was having lunch with the missus, and he walked in, and halfway through lunch, which was quite rude, I said to the missus, I've got to get up. And she got the shit. She didn't know what it was for. I said, Dennis Pagan, that's the man over there that gave me my career. So I had to go out and say hello. So she understood in the end, but he was the one that got me on the senior list.
Now, funny talking about Pagan, another amazing coach, obviously. That rivalry with the Kangaroos, he went on from Essendon under-19s 92 to become the senior coach of the Kangaroos in 93. And then I think they played in, was it 7 or 8 consecutive prelim finals? And there was a massive rivalry in the 90s between the Bombers and the Kangaroos. What was that like? In an era, I mean, we look back at the 90s, I think it's the halcyon days of the AFL. That was when the AFL peaked for me.
I think you're right, mate. It was a pretty big rivalry. It was cross-line rivals, and Sheeds and Dennis Pagan, they're great mates, but they hammed it up. There was all the show. But there was a big rivalry. We could never beat the Kangaroos. In the first 5 or 6 years, we couldn't beat them. Then we finally beat them, and that's when we started beating them. We beat them well, and the rivalry started. And then I think it was 98 when we lost in the final. And everyone threw marshmallows at Sheeds. They're calling us soft, and that was the start of our run where 98 were pretty ordinary, and then 99 we lose by a point, but then win a flag in 2000. So that's where it all started. So, but as I said, it's all a show. Sheeds and Dennis Pagan are great mates, and it's all
both
theatre,
in real
mate.
estate as well, Joe, aren't they? Both in real estate now, aren't they?
Dennis is, but he's coaches. Trains racehorses as well, yeah. So.
And I saw him doing some stuff with Johnny Rombotis.
Oh, she just makes cash left, right, and centre. He's the cash king, that man.
I taught him well.
Yeah, you did have a couple of real narrow losses in prelims.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, mate. Yeah,
We're setting up for a crescendo.
Okay, yeah. We lost to the Swans in Sydney in '96 by a point.
Yep.
When Locker kicked a point after the siren to beat us, and then in '99 we lost to Carlton by a point, which you never want to lose to Carlton, but you don't want to lose to them by a point in the prelim either. So, which is even worse.
I know, it's absolutely terrible because we got a team playing tomorrow, which had a really narrow loss last year, for example. So how does that feed into your preparation for the next year? You know what I mean? Because you came back flying the following year.
It's a good question. Well, '96, we're probably lucky we didn't make the grand final because I reckon 8 of us wouldn't have played through injuries. So it's probably, not saying this, we would have loved to play, but yeah, '99 was the real kick in the arse that we needed. We had a great year all the way through. We finished on top of the ladder, won our first couple of finals pretty easy, and then everyone thought we were just going to turn up and win. Not saying we did, but in the back of our mind, our minds might have been a week in front of where it should have been. Yeah. And then Carlton came out and beat us by a point. And what happened after that? Sheeds, I don't know how, he managed to get 40 grand final tickets the morning of the game, and he
Sheeds
took us.
Has his ways, mate.
And he said, everyone come.
He hit me up.
Was it you? Yeah, it was Coach Kyle. You got all the moves, mate.
Sorted him out.
And we went and watched the game, the grand final in '99, which we all hated. We're all hungover, which turned into getting drunk at the footy. And then we went across to Geppetto's in East Melbourne there, and that's where our season started in 2000. So you've got to have a bit of heartbreak to get some success. And 2000 was and still is, and probably will ever be, is probably the most successful season by an individual club.
Yeah, amazing season. But '93, obviously, we'll just go back a bit because that's where it started. Obviously, for you with the first premiership, how do you differentiate those two seasons? I mean, '93, the baby bombers, you're young. What did you learn from between those two grand finals, those two winning seasons?
Don't drink as much after the grand final, drink a bit slower. Now, '93, everyone says we're lucky, but you're never lucky when you win a flag. It's a lot of hard work, dedication, and the great list. But '93, I was only 18, mind you. Imagine having the key to the city for 5 days after you win a flag. It was pretty intense. I didn't really take it all in. I do remember Bomber Thompson and Mark Harvey after '93 just telling us, they're young blokes, just settle down, take it in. You're just going to go on for a few days. We didn't really listen that well, but we had a good time. And then 2000 was me being Mark Harvey and Bomber Thompson, you know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
I went round to the young kids and said, boys, we've got 4 or 5 days on the
Adam
drink.
Ramanaskas, calm down.
Ramanaskas, yeah, calm down, Rama. And just enjoy it because they're hard to win. The grand finals are hard to get into. To win one is even harder. So, so I just enjoyed it more in 2000 because I obviously had experience from '93.
Man, that 2000 series, I think the qualifying final it was, and you played against the then premiers North Melbourne. You had like 40 disposals, 4 goals.
Thanks for bringing that up, mate. Yeah, I had 41 touches and kicked 4 goals, mate.
Did you have a rash or something after that game?
Oh, I think I had.
Well, he did have that rash on that Bali trip we went to, remember?
That was supposed to be our secret, mate. It was a good day. We won by 20 goals, which helped, but it was a pretty big day. It was probably my best game personally, I think.
Well, you were the player of that series, actually.
I did win best finals. Thanks, mate. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, won best in finals, which to me was probably the most important trophy I've won individually. Yeah. Because it just shows that I was able to perform on the big stage, and it was a good one to win.
Because you guys knew that you were going to make it to that big stage that year. I mean, did I hear that right? During the course of the season, you guys decided that we're not going to sing the song anymore after our wins. We're just going to wait until we win the whole thing. That takes some serious cojones to make that decision.
Yeah, I think I was up about round 6. And then Sheeds got Kevin Bartlett in to talk to us after training one night. And he sort of floated the idea, and we thought, oh, Jesus, Kevin, you're going a bit crazy. You're losing your marbles. Everyone, it's just tradition. But then we made a pact, I think it was around 7 or 8, we said we're not winning the theme song until we win the grand final. So it was the biggest theme song we've ever belted out. I think we went to the middle of the MCG, we got the cup in the middle, and we sung it a couple of times. But yeah, it was quite different. No one believed us, but yeah, it was true. So we didn't sing it. I think we had about 15 games and we actually didn't sing a song.
Wow.
All the cameras had come in waiting for us to sing the song and spray Powerade everywhere, but we just walk straight to the coach's room, do a debrief, and then we go home. So it was a little bit different, mate. But
unbelievable season, mate. And I think, like you said, it's hard to get into them. It's even harder to win. But you guys just had this fixed resolve from the start. I guess, like you said, from the grand final before, when you're sitting there watching, North Melbourne, Carlton play, and then is it true that you sat down and wrote a mission statement, and then was it John Quinn just sit down and go, this is what we're going to do, and set it out even before the pre-season started?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought Quinny up. John Quinn was our fitness advisor. He came to us in '99. didn't know how to spell football, knew nothing about footy. He was the head of athletics, Australia Athletics, and the footy club thought we just needed to get a bit fitter, a little bit more athletic. Not me, of course, because I'm an athletic
You
beast.
are.
Yeah.
Stallion.
And he had an athletics background, so he pretty much changed the whole focus. So I turned away from footy. Initially, it was all about fitness. It was all about being an elite athlete, eating right, just doing everything right. So we really changed our focus, and I think he was one of the big catalysts in getting us to where we were. Because in 2000, we were that fit. We were just running oversides and doing what we wanted, but we just knew that we had plenty of reserves in the tank. And one thing he did do, which I think was about 3 weeks out from our first final, he got us in and said, we're going to do a mini pre-season. We think, what's he on about this bloke? We're about to embark into a final series. And he told the coach, because we were never going to lose top spot. And he said to us, he goes, just expect, the coaches, we might lose a game or two in the last 4 weeks, but it's all part of the grander plan. So, mate, we got pounded for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then we front up on Saturday, but we were good enough to win. Yeah. But what it does is you build up and then you taper right off. And it's like, they call it like a band effect. You train hard, they pull you back, you back. Then when you're ready to go, they let it go. And I've never ran on top of the ground as much as I did in that final series, just because of that preparation. But if he didn't come from athletics background, no one would have known that.
It's revolutionary. I mean, they all do it now, don't they?
Yeah, everyone does it now.
Yeah.
Everyone does it
revolutionary.
Now, so it was, mate.
Did Quinny at some point leave the club? Is that why things started to... in the years after the 2000, obviously you made 2001, but it was like the walking wounded going into that grand final. Like Brisbane were definitely gifted, I feel.
They're a pretty good side. They're a pretty good side. I don't know, he was there, I think he stayed about 2005, 2006. Sure. But I think I retired in 2004, and that's when it started to go downhill.
It's all you.
Yeah, but he's brilliant. He's going well now. He's back in athletics. Helps. I think he does a bit with GWS as well. So, but back in the athletics scene. Oh,
right, there you go. Who would you reckon was the toughest opponent that you had to play against in your career? Obviously, you had some incredible opposition back in the heyday of footy, but who would you say would be your top one?
Probably Greg Harding from Fremantle.
Who?
Greg Harding.
Greg Harding
from Fremantle. You don't know Greg Harding?
Sorry, Greg, if you're watching.
I never played on him, so I never played on him. So no, he wouldn't play in the midfield. So no. Probably the hardest one was, I think I was 3 or 4 games in. We're playing Carlton, and Thursday night before the game, we look at the board, and it's got Misiti and it's got Williams. And I said, surely the coaches, he's drunk or something. I'm an 18-year-old kid, I'm going to play him. At that stage, he was the best player in the comp. Yeah. But I learned so much in footy, from that game of footy, just off him. He's just a genius. He knew where to run. He taught me to run, which angles, and he taught me that you didn't have to be an athlete to get the footy, because I reckon I was faster than him, and that's a pretty big call. But he's probably the hardest. The best battles I had was Scotty West from Bulldogs. Oh, we played footy from... I played at Keilor Park, he played at Strathmore, so we actually played on each other from about the age of 10, all the way through when I retired in 2004. And we'd get to the centre square, I'd say, hey, Westy, and you go, hey, Joe, and that's the last we'd see of each other until after the game when we shook hands again. So back in the day, you really didn't have to pick up my man that often, but he was one of my hardest, Scotty West was.
Oh, and he was unlucky to win a Brownlow as well. I mean, how many times was he runner-up?
Yeah, he ran, I think he was twice runner-up. He won 8 best and fairest, the Bulldogs, but every time I see him, he goes, I'll spot you 3 or 4 of my best and fairest for one flag. I said, Scotty, go away, mate. They're 2 of mine, mate. You can keep your best and fairest, so...
I would have thought you'd have Ben Cousins up there. I thought that's the reason why you decided to knee him.
I've got him flash.
He's got that old little Joe Misiti.
I've got 3 weeks for that, mate. I've got the missus come home and she goes, that Ben Cousins looks all right. So I was playing the week after and I saw him coming. I need him. I've got him pretty flush. I've got 3 weeks for it. So, but yeah, it's the only time we've been reported and suspended.
I remember seeing him play on.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Yeah, play on.
It's already going to be 12 weeks nowadays, mate.
The game's gone soft, mate. There's nothing in it. It's just good old-fashioned
knee.
Hip and shoulder. It's just a corky.
He didn't come back on, so I did get him pretty flush.
Now, Joe, rivalries. Let's talk some rivalries. No, not you. Joe, the Joe.
You got to differentiate us somehow. Jeez.
Smoking Joe, vaping Joe.
All right, fine. I get it.
Smoking Joe, Anzac Day games, right? Something that Sheeds initiated, obviously. You were there for the first one, 95. It was a draw. What was it like? What is that game like? I mean, I'd say it's big, almost like a grand final. How can you describe that for us?
It's the biggest game outside of a final series, but we didn't know what to expect. Sheeds is a little bit crazy sometimes. He's got a lot more ideas that haven't sort of come to fruition, that no one's seen, but we thought it'd be a great one. He got together with Bruce Ruxton and he thought it'd be a great idea, and I said, let's try, let's see what happens. But no one knew it was going to happen. And usually at a game of footy, if you play at 2 o'clock, you've got to be there at 12. And we used to share a ride in there, me, Dave Calthorpe, Ola Renshaw and McCurry. we used to share rides in there, and you used to give yourself half an hour, 45. It took us an hour and a half to get in there. The crowd was that massive. Like, they got over 100,000, and I think there was 20,000 that got locked out. So we ran about 45 minutes late to the game because of the crowd, but because no one expected it. And as I said, the first game ended to be a draw, and it just seems to the build-up gets bigger and bigger each year. But just outside of finals, it's just a massive setup, and we get a lot of ex-diggers come in to speak to us the week of, and just to hear some of their stories. You know, we think we make sacrifices as footballers, like we do jack shit compared to what they did. And I was never really all over it. I didn't really, not that I didn't care for it, but I didn't really look it up or read about it. And then when they come and told us these stories and what they went through and what they did, it was an eye-opener.
Yeah, Gentleman Jack would always come by the Bombers.
Well, Jack Jones, a ripper. I wore Jack Jones' number, 24.
Yep.
Obviously, his granddaughter, Sarah Jones, is all over Fox Footy. She was
Michael Werner wore your number.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So he was a ripper. He was really good at getting us in and us really teaching us about what they did for us. Because, without them, I don't think any of us would be here at the moment. So, But Anzac Day it's huge. It's huge.
And James Hird, king of Anzac Day, really. Those games where he just went out there, dominated. What was it like playing with such a champion? Considered, top 3 at the Bombers? I think Dick Reynolds.
Yeah, Dick Reynolds.
Maybe
was it Bill? Was before him, maybe?
John Coleman and
it was definitely top 5.
Yeah.
He told us all about it last night over dinner, so don't worry about that. But he was a superstar. A lot of people don't realise he got drafted at 60 or 70, but it was for a reason. He couldn't kick. Like his ball dropped, he dropped the ball up high, and if there was a little bit of wind, it moved all over the shop. So it was a shocking kick, but his work ethic is second to none. I've never seen a person work as hard on his game as he did, and just his mentality. He just never wanted to be beaten at anything. Whether we play table tennis at the club or whether we go for a beer, he wanted to drink the mug. He was a competitive beast, and you can probably see that when it comes out in the field. And he just didn't think anything was he thought nothing was impossible. If he said, "See to go in the ruck, playing a ruck against Justin Madden," he'd go, "No worries, I'll do it," and he'd probably beat him. He just had that mentality where he's never going to lose. So, and he's just a legend, a great fella, and just a legend of the football club.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he was the best player that you've ever played with? Or would you maybe have Mercury?
Merckx was pretty good, wasn't he?
Merckx is good. Merckx was the same junior club as me. Quick story about Merckx. Merckx was never allowed to play footy. He was old WOG school. Where I was only half WOG school because Mum was Australian, Dad was Italian, but he was full WOG. But his mum didn't want to let him play because she didn't want little Mark to get injured. So he played a little bit of school footy, but then we found out there was a bit of a gun player at Kilda Park Primary School. So we started chatting to him, and the thing that got him over the line, we both were good enough to trial for the Victorian primary schools. And so we get there. I was in grade 5, he was in grade 6, and our dads both being WOGs, they sort of gravitated towards each other at training, and then we'd sort of share the training trips to training and that. And my dad got to know his dad Tony pretty well, and then we talked him into playing footy. And his first year of competitive footy was under 14s at Kilda Park, and he just dominated from day dot. And you can see he probably
silky smooth.
Wasn't the classiest player I've played with. You've got a couple of Indigenous boys in Wangan and along. They were pretty good players. We had them all over the shop. We got Matthew Lloyd. You got Scotty Lucas. He's one of best and fairest at centre forward and centre half back. Too many to mention.
We're just stacked.
Yeah, it was stacked. And my biggest thing in footy was when I was growing up, I broke for Essendon. Timmy Watson was my hero. In 91, he retired. 92, 91 retired, 92 year off. And Sheeds talked him into coming back to play at Essendon. So I get to play in a premiership with my boyhood idol. So it was that's the stuff that sort of the dreams are made of. And every time I see Timmy now, it reminds me. He goes, "Oh, don't worry, Joe, here's your hero. Your hero's coming up now. Kiss my shoes or whatever." But he was a legend. And to play in a flag with your boyhood idol was, that's nearly the highlight of my career.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing.
If only Job got a similar sort of firstly Brownlow and secondly grand final. I would love to have seen Job have that as well. But what do you think is missing between those premiership sides that won, that you were part of, compared to this Essendon or the modern Essendon? Like, what do you think has been mostly missing from the side?
Maybe talent. I'm not too sure. I just think they got the same type of player. They got a lot of half-back flankers, a lot of wingmen. They need a couple of balls in the middle. They need a couple of talls down back. I don't know. And when winning is a winning culture. It's a learned behaviour. You've got to learn how to win. And I just don't think Essendon's got it. One of my stories at the moment, I think I was telling you boys before, is that I'm 50 November and I played in the last winning final at Essendon in 2004. So for a big...
What was that, mate?
For a big club, it's pretty embarrassing, I think. Yeah. When I played 14 years, and I think I played 10 of those 14 years, I played finals. But that was the benchmark. If you didn't make finals, pre-season started 3 weeks early and you got your ass pounded.
On the casting couch.
Yeah, of course.
You got pounded at training, so it's a bit different now, mate. I'm not too sure if they want to win. I'm not too sure if it's more of a business now. But when I played footy, I wanted to win every fucking week.
Yeah.
And I wanted to win. If I lost, I was shattered. So I'm not too sure they got that, but hopefully they showed a few signs at the start of the year, but they fell away again. So hopefully they can do something next year, mate. But I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm not that confident.
Well, we've got a few. We've got Kuta coming up, don't we?
We do.
Pretty soon.
We do.
What was it like playing with those guys? But was there a rivalry? Did you see each other out in the pubs, or did you hang out after the games? What was it like? Was it respectful?
The first 5-6 years it was a bit different. We used to have the trainers function, so after every game, if we were a home team, our trainers would put on party pie, sausage rolls and a few beers, and all the opposition club used to come in, or the players, the coaches, so you used to mingle. And if we see them out, we'd definitely have a beer with them, have a chat to them. I was lucky, I'm pretty lucky, I know Kuta pretty well. I played at Teal Cup with him under 17, so I've known him for a lot of years. Being a good Italian man, he's not Greek, he's more Italian than Greek. But he's just a great fella, but he sort of revolutionised the game. He's the first 6'4", 5" athlete to play footy.
He was Crips before Crips.
Oh yeah, he was just a freak. He could do anything. Pick the ball at one hand. In '99, without Kuta, Carlton wouldn't have beat us. He was just unheard of.
Yeah,
so he was just a freak of a player and a great fella too, which we like. But we did used to socialise, mate.
That's
a
great.
lot.
That's great.
Back in the days, you could. Nowadays, it's so sanitised that
Phones everywhere.
I remember Dustin Fletcher, who played about 700 games.
Oh,
he was my roommate. He's one of my great mates. And probably the last 4 or 5 years, after a game, he'd ring me. I'm thinking, what is he ring me for? Some tips to tell me to play full-back. What are you doing? I said, nothing, mate. I just finished watching you play. He goes, I'm coming around for a beer. I said, why are you coming to my house for? He goes, because if I get seen out, they ring the club and say, I just saw Dustin Fletcher out having 15 pots, drunk, doing cartwheels, which was just incorrect. But that's the sort of scrutiny they were under as players. So he used to stay around my house. It was just easier to come to my house than to go to the pub.
Great sessions at your house, Joe.
Yes, it's still ongoing too, mate.
Mate. See you tomorrow.
Great, see you tonight, mate.
Have we got a roaming mic out there, Dave, for anyone that wants to ask, not Vaping Joe, Smoking Joe, a question? Or maybe you can just yell it out or stand up.
I think maybe...
Stand up, mate. Yeah, stand up. Yeah, did you want to ask a question?
Maybe we can get Steve-O to come on the... Steve-O?
Oh, the 93 goal, Michael Long's goal.
Oh, no, he's about a metre away, mate. He was nowhere near it, so... yeah, I think it was really similar. Now, I don't know, I've never spoken to Sauce about it, but Longie's adamant it wasn't got touched. The goal umpire said it could get touched, so it didn't get touched, but it was awfully close, mate.
Anyone else got a question?
Who was the
Put your hand up, there is a microphone going around there.
Who was the biggest rival that you guys had?
Say it again, mate, sorry.
Your biggest rival? Well, I hate the Pies,
Yeah.
and I hate the Blues,
Yeah.
and I hate the Hawks,
Yeah.
and I hate a lot of teams, as you can tell. Did the Players have any other teams that they hated in particular?
I think the rivalry with Carlton, Collingwood, Richmond has been there for 100 years, so it was just part and parcel. But my biggest rivalry was with North Melbourne.
Oh.
Yeah, when I played, because they were powerful.
Yeah.
They had the duck up forward. They were just a really good side. And as I said before, they played in 7 prelims in a row, or 7 out of 10 years. They were a pretty good side. So they were our biggest rivals, I reckon.
All right. Oh, we got a question here from a gentleman at the front. I can't see. I think it's Dean. Where's the microphone?
Oh,
Here he comes.
It's making its
There you
way.
Yeah, he's a song. Yeah, sweet. I was just curious to know, you gave Hurdy a massive rap before. Like, I'm a 90s, 2000s kid, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But what do you think about the next generation? Do you think they're going to know what sort of legacy that man did sort of obviously put down? Because obviously, you know, he was tarnished by the drug scandal, whenever it was. Sort of Chubby Joe touched back on that before. Yeah, I was just curious what your thoughts were. Do you think he'll make his way back to the game and sort of give the new generation the sort of rap about what?
It's a good question, that one. Jeez. This is not live, is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's lost to footy at AFL level. He got everyone doesn't really know what's happened. I sort of know the truth, but he got the way. Yeah, no, the way I got handled was pretty bad.
Yeah.
He's the big Greek Adonis, Italian Adonis. Sorry. Yeah, the way I was handled wasn't great. Essendon tried to deal with the AFL, and anyone knows the AFL are the most corrupt organisation in Australia.
Oh yeah.
And things got out of hand, and yeah, it just. I kept saying, I said, if you're not guilty of something and you haven't been found guilty, you got to fight it. Like the late great Dr. Bruce Reid, he was our club doctor, and he said none of it happened. I'm going to fight these in court, and they dropped the charges. So it was strange. I'd just like for all the truth to be known. I just want it all to come out. You hear things there and there, but why can't they just come out and just say what happened? Because it put the club back 10 years. I said that at the start. And they're still fighting from it now. That year they had to play with top-up players. Oh. Players that hadn't been out of the system for 12 months.
They had Greg Harding playing.
Yeah. And had to represent Essendon at AFL level. So it wasn't great, but everyone was doing it. That's the scary thing. Every club was doing it. And I use it as an analogy because everyone loves a beer. You can go to the pub and have 3 pots and you still be on just under 0.05. But if you have one more, it might tip you over. So everyone was on that fine line. But we were the scapegoats. I'm not saying we didn't do it, but we were the scapegoats. And, yeah, we got punished pretty severely. And
Jimmy definitely took the biggest brunt of it all.
Yeah, well, he had to. He's the one. Because he's a top bloke. I'm the head of the footy club. It's on my watch. I might not know everything that was going on, but I'm responsible. So that's probably that's killed him in the end. But
I wish Andrew faced some similar scrutiny.
Andrew Demetrio.
Yeah, him.
Let's not talk about him. Anyway.
On that note, I'm just getting a wrap up here from the guys at the top. We're gonna do a little celebration, sort of. Thank you, Joe, for coming on the FanCast Grand Final panel show tonight. To celebrate, Joe, you've got something that you'd love to do with you. You've been saying this all week. Have a look at this. So, 93, you're playing West Coast at the G. The reigning premiers. Sheeds has come out and he's done his famous jacket wave. So the two Joes are going to wave the jacket in the spirit of the great man Sheeds. Have we got a song for this? Can we get a bit of a rousing go? Come on, give me some.
Hot beats. They were racing.
Thank you, Joe Misiti. Give him a round of applause, guys. Thank you.
He made it out with the bullet in his